गाइस, वेलकम टू माय मिनी व्लॉग। तो आज का दिन शुरू हुआ पापा के लिए ओट्स बनाने से और मैंने कट करे सिमन और मेरे लिए फ्रूट्स।
हाय गाइस, वेलकम टू माय मिनी व्लॉग। तो आज मैं काफ़ी वीक फील कर रही थी क्योंकि मैं रात भर सो नहीं पाई। पता नहीं क्यों मुझे नींद ही नहीं आ रही थी। बट फिर मैं उठी, मैंने कवल के लिए उनका लंच रेडी किया।
मेरे ससुराल में लेट उठना अलाउड नहीं है, पर संडे को मैं अपनी मर्जी से उठती।
इस वीक में तीसरी बार बना है साबूदाना। हाय गाइस, वेलकम बैक टू माय चैनल। आज सुबह की शुरुआत हुई चाय बनाने से और मैंने बनाया सबके लिए साबूदाना, जिसकी रेसिपी दी है मैंने अपने यूट्यूब चैनल पे। गाइस, मैं 22 साल की हूँ। मैंने शादी करी है अपनी मर्जी से एंड आई लव कुकिंग फॉर माई हस्बैंड, फॉर माई फैमिली समटाइम्स। जितनी मैंने पढ़ाई करी आई एम सेटिस्फाइड विद दैट और आई एम ऑल्सो ग्रेजुएटेड। बट थैंक गॉड कि मेरी थिंकिंग तुम लोगों जैसी नहीं है, तुम लड़कियों जैसी नहीं है, तभी आई एम हैप्पीली सेटिस्फाइड इन माई मैरिड लाइफ। नो वॉट, सच तो ये है कि तुम जैसे लोगों की वजह से ही, जैसा मैंने बोला, डाइवोर्स केसेस और एलिमनी के स्कैम्स बढ़ रहे हैं। तभी लड़के डरते हैं आजकल शादी करने के लिए।
I want you to imagine two friends, Chintu and Pintu. Now, they used to eat their tiffins together. Chintu's dad only gave him bhindi and karela. Pintu's dad, on the other hand, gave him avocado toast, pasta, sushi, along with bhindi and karela. One day, Pintu offers his pasta to Chintu. Chintu says, "No, thank you. I prefer bhindi. Bhindi is my choice." I don't understand how people can like all this pasta, sushi and all. Bhindi and karela is fine for me. So Chintu spends his whole life never trying sushi, pasta and continues to stick to bhindi and karela. Chintu will never know what other things taste like. This story is not about food. A day in my life as a 20-year-old married wife. You must have seen such videos where a young lady dressed in traditional attire wakes up early to make food for her in-laws and her husband. Then she proceeds to clean the whole house by hand. She chose this simple life of discipline and family values. Okay, first of all, let's get something clear. Housewife creators are not housewives. They're selling you the idea that being a housewife is good, but they literally earn. Content creation is a job and you can make a lot of money with it. Just because you're working from home and shooting those videos at home doesn't make you a housewife. These women are influencing millions of women to become financially dependent on their husbands. They're making them believe that this simple family life is the best life for a woman. Except there is nothing simple about getting ready, setting up your camera, and pretend that you're cooking for your father-in-law, and then taking that footage, editing it, and posting it on your page. These girls who are promoting being financially dependent on your husband are themselves financially independent because of their page. Anyway, that's not the point of this video. You'll often see comments from other girls under these videos. Comments like, "Sad life, she's giving me motivation to study." You'll also see a lot of women hating on such women. They'll say that these women are brainwashed and they're carrying forward the patriarchy, that women are women's worst enemies, that patriarchal women are worse than patriarchal men. And then you'll see more comments where it says, "It was her choice. Isn't that feminism? Letting women choose." This video is going to be for all of these people. The feminists who hate pick-me's and the men who think that it's a choice to be a housewife. Is being a housewife actually a choice? Is she happy? And does she deserve to be hated for this choice? Firstly, let's clear some of our fundamentals. What is a choice? How do we make a choice? I want you to think about a decision that you've made. Let's say the clothes that you're currently wearing. Pause this video and think about what exactly led to you making the decision to wear those clothes. And try to think beyond it was just a random choice. We make a lot of decisions throughout our day, throughout our life. These decisions range from choosing what to eat for dinner to choosing who to marry and what to do with our career. Let's take the example of dinner. How do we decide what to eat for dinner? It's a complex process that goes on in our brain. So if you decided to eat rajma chawal over fried cockroach for dinner, It's because of various factors that you considered without realizing it. Your emotions, you feel happy when you eat rajma chawal. Your financial stability, you can afford to buy rajma and chawal. Your upbringing, maybe your parents used to make it often when you were growing up. Your age and your health, you don't have an acidity problem and you can digest rajma easily. Risk or safety level, you don't know many people who died because of eating rajma chawal. Social norms, you know that nobody will judge you if you eat rajma chawal. Now, if you lived in a country where fried cockroaches were normal, you might have chosen that. And just like this, all the decisions that you take in life are on the basis of these various factors that you don't realize. But you don't really remember sitting and thinking about all these factors, do you? You're probably like, I felt like eating it, that's why I ate it. It wasn't a huge process for you. That's because of something called heuristics. Heuristics are mental shortcuts that help you make decisions easily and quickly. We use heuristics to make decisions easily so that we don't have to sit and think about all the factors possible. So, in this example, the heuristic is I like rajma, so I will eat it for dinner. You're obviously not going to sit and think about each and every factor to consider while making the decision to what to eat for dinner, right? So, you rely on these heuristics. But heuristics are based on faulty biases. They're not always rational. To put this in the context of the video, when a woman decides to be a housewife, that decision is made on the basis of various heuristics and judgments. And that includes biases. Just take an average housewife. She would have reached the age of 22 and then she'll be told by her parents that it's time to settle down. She'll see women around her all doing the same thing. Her mother did the same thing. So she's like, okay, I have social support for this decision. I see many people around me doing this. Every piece of content and media that I've ever consumed has showed me that this is normal, being a housewife. So I'll choose this. The question is this choice a real choice? If you read our school textbooks, you'll often see women being homemakers in examples of the textbooks, and men will be the working people, the providers. You'll never see men being homemakers. And the same is shown in advertisements. Women are always the ones doing the household chores, taking care of the house, cooking.
ये महल देखो
हमरे पिया बनाए रील टकाटक दिल से कपड़े होते चकाचक
मेरे रघुपति लंच करेंगे अब फिर मेरा प्यार से बना खाना प्यार से खाएंगे
In Indian TV shows as well, it is rare to see women being the main characters. In Bollywood movies, women are always or often the side characters or the overly sexualized characters.
मैं कहूँगी कि जितनी फिल्में हैं वो पुरुषों द्वारा पुरुषों के लिए और पुरुषों के पक्ष को दोहराने के लिए बनाई जा रही हैं और सबसे ज़्यादा जिस चीज़ से हमें तकलीफ होती है कि वो आज इस ज़माने में जब ज़माना बहुत बदल रहा है उसी पुरानी घिसी पिटी तस्वीर को औरतों की को दोहरा रही हैं। औरतों को सिर्फ दो रूप में हमारी फिल्में देखती हैं जैसा कि हमारा समाज देखता है, या तो वो देवी है, त्याग की मूर्ति है, या वो कुलटा है, पतिता है, या वो माँ, पत्नी या बेटी है, या वो अगर घर से बाहर है तो वो माल है, चीज है जिसके साथ आप मजाक कर सकते हैं, वैश्या है। और बार बार हर फिल्म कुछ फिल्मों को छोड़ के ये दोहराती है कि औरत को चार दीवारी के अंदर ही रहना चाहिए, उसका दायरा उसकी चार दीवारी ही है।
This is also common in cartoons. Women in movies are often shown as a negative character if they have a strong career. Showed that women live an unhappy, single, unmarried life if they have a career, if they get too independent.
मैंने बटन खोला था क्योंकि मैं अच्छा इंप्रेशन बनाना चाहती थी।
और ऐसे बनता है आपका अच्छा इंप्रेशन?
अपनी बॉडी दिखाकर।
बॉडी घर छोड़कर तो इस इंटरव्यू पर आ नहीं सकती थी।
Women are homemakers, and if they choose their career over their family life, it's bad. My point is that they're told that they have to choose career or family. You can't have both as a woman. But when a man chooses his career over spending time at home, he's seen as someone who is taking care of his family. But when a woman does the same thing, she's neglecting her family. If you look around, you will never really see that many business women or women who are completely financially independent and have a job. It's an exception, it's not the norm in our society. And when they do have a job, it's often ignored. This is conditioning. The dictionary defines it as The process of training or accustoming a person or animal to behave in a certain way or to accept certain circumstances. In psychology, there is a popular debate called free will versus determinism. It revolves around whether human beings actually make independent choices, which is free will, or if all of their actions are influenced by the society around them. My opinion as a psychologist is that we're somewhere in the middle. I believe that we make our own choices, but our choices are shaped by what is presented to us. Various options have to be presented to us equally with equal amount of rewards and punishments for us to make a neutral decision and not one that is biased. These options have to be equally accessible and supported by our social circle for us to consider them. Now, coming to the main concept of this video. What is feminism? Feminism is a movement that exists to dismantle patriarchal systems. Systems that are so ingrained in us that they almost seem biological or natural. Like, women love to cook for their families and they're nurturing, soft, and loving. That's not biological. There is no biology like that. Everyone has the same capacity to be nurturing and loving. It's conditioning. Patriarchy is a system that benefits men, and it puts them as the head of the society, head of the family. Ironically, I'm sitting on the head of the table right now. Patriarchy is not equal to men. It can be practiced by anyone, including women, but the benefits will always be to the men. Coming to the housewife thing. Just because a woman is the one making the choice doesn't mean that the choice is a feminist one. A woman can make choices that are against the feminist movement. Choosing to be financially dependent on your husband and not pursue your education, it's a choice made under social conditioning. It benefits the man more than the woman. He gets to study, he gets to have a career and be with his family. She doesn't get to have a career. She also has to leave her family behind. So she actually doesn't get to choose her family or her career. She gets to choose his family and support his career. Unfair, isn't it? You'll also often notice that young women who are supported to get married at a young age often marry men who are older. Men very rarely get married at the age of 20, but you'll see a lot of women getting married at the age of 20. This is also supported by our law because the legal system says that men have to be 21 to get married while women have to be 18. Even our law is a part of the whole conditioning process. A woman and her family can choose to give dowry. A woman can choose to support female feticide. A woman can shame other women for wearing revealing clothes. These are not feminist choices just because a woman made them. Feminism is not about individuals and their choices. It's about who influences that choice, how many choices they get in the first place, who benefits the most from that choice. Individuals do not make choices on their own. They're influenced by external factors. I'm sure I also make a lot of patriarchal choices because of the system we live in. Me removing my leg hair and my underarm hair, it's probably because of patriarchy. Maybe if I was born in a world where no woman ever removed their armpit hair, I wouldn't either. Because why would I just wake up one day and be like, you know what? Let me rip off the hair from my underarms. For no reason. How do I know that my choice is patriarchal and it's not just my personal choice? Because men are not expected to do the same thing. Biologically speaking, we all have underarm hair, but only women are told to remove it. Men can just exist. Women have to keep changing the way they look. So, now that I'm aware that this choice that I'm making is not a feminist choice and it's going with patriarchy, why am I still continuing to do it? Why did I remove my underarm hair yesterday? Because I'm not mentally ready to face the consequences of what will happen if I just make videos with completely natural, long armpit hair. Being aware doesn't mean that I can handle the consequences of what happens if I don't follow the norm. I don't want to hear comments about how my armpits are looking when I'm making videos. It will distract from the video. And that's what happens to most women. They're afraid of the society's response. If they get rebellious, the society might do something bad. Women used to be called a witch. They used to be burned alive for being rebellious, for being too independent, too strong. They used to get killed. They still do actually. I also get called witch by a lot of men in my comment sections. I get hate simply because I'm giving opinions about the gender bias that exists in this world. Now imagine, I'm following the norm. I'm removing hair. I am putting makeup and I'm doing everything the society expects me to do as a woman. And even then I'm getting so much hate just because I'm saying things with my mouth. Now, If I started doing other things along with it, I would get even more hate and maybe it would discourage me from talking. Yeah, it might sound like an excuse I'm making to continue to follow the patriarchy, but I'm protecting myself. I'll only be able to be as rebellious as I can handle, because if I go beyond that, I might stop being rebellious because it'll start affecting me. Let's take the example of Sydney Sweeney. She's a popular white actress and she's been sexualized for years for the way she looks because of her big breasts. Her fans, majority of whom are men, they kept making creepy requests like, "We want your bath water." So she capitalized on this and she started selling soap made out of her bath water. Now she's still getting objectified, but this time she's gaining something from it. She's earning from being objectified. So is this a feminist choice because she's profiting off of it? Another example is Sabrina Carpenter. Her new album cover. It is a picture of her on her knees. She got a lot of criticism for it because she is taking women back 50 years according to the internet. She's promoting women being submissive. Other people think that it's satire and it portrays how the public views her and that she's just profiting off of this, similar to the discourse around Sydney Sweeney. The question is, does behaving according to what the public expects from you and then profiting off of that make it any less patriarchal? A woman being in charge of her patriarchal decisions, does that make them less patriarchal? Is this empowerment? These examples are similar to how older women of our previous generation might tell younger women to hide their bra strap or question why they don't know how to cook, or the whole trope of the evil mother-in-law torturing the daughter-in-law, fighting for her son's attention, being a boy mom who is obsessed with her son. I'll let you decide if these choices are all less patriarchal just because women are making them. One thing is clear, women are always to blame. With Sydney Sweeney, with Sabrina Carpenter, with these women who are getting married at a young age, with the evil mother-in-laws. The internet loves to hate women. They hate pick-me's, they hate housewives, they hate women who have internalized patriarchy. I have done the same. I often used to hate on these women too. But what we really need to do is take a step back and think about why you hate these women more than you hate men. Why you believe that you're any better than these women as a woman just because you had more support and resources to educate yourself and unlearn years of conditioning. Don't get me wrong, misogynistic women are bad. They anger me too. But you need to think about why they're misogynistic in the first place. Do you really think it's serving them? Or are they just protecting themselves? And yeah, I'm sure a lot of people are going to watch this video and be like, I sound like I'm making excuses for these women and I'm being really biased towards women. I don't mind. I think we need to be more biased towards women. After years of being biased towards men, women need to be given the same amount of forgiving energy that we give to men. Men are like this only, boys will be boys. Don't mind him, he's just a man. Of course he will stare at you if you wear a little dress. Just ignore him, don't give him attention. Apply these same principles to misogynistic women. Focus on the actual problem. The problem being these women's father-in-laws and husbands that encourage them to not work. They want the daughter-in-law to serve them. Fathers who don't say anything when their daughters are being made to get married and leave their education, while their sons go out to play cricket and not care. They encourage their sons to have hobbies while women are told that the only hobby they can have is cooking. Fathers and father-in-laws who feel uncomfortable when they see their daughter or daughter-in-law in short shorts, they are the problem. Why are they feeling uncomfortable? It's because they're sexualizing their daughter/daughter-in-law. Sexualizing their body parts, their legs, and then assuming that I'm a man so I can't control myself around her, so she should cover herself. So they tell these women, their daughters, their own daughter-in-laws to cover themselves so they can protect themselves from their sexual gaze, their dirty gaze. You can hate the mother or the mother-in-law all you want for pushing their internalized misogyny on their daughters. But the truth is that the people who are benefiting from it are the men. They are the ones who have the power. They are the ones who benefit when the daughters learn how to cook for them. They benefit from women's unpaid labor. The mothers and mother-in-laws don't. The mother-in-law probably suffered the same way the daughter-in-law will. These women are practicing patriarchy because they're scared of what will happen if they don't. They're being pick-me's because they don't know what will happen if they go against the norm. They might end up alone. There are horrible consequences for women who go against the norm, go against the patriarchy. when they have no support. At least that's what their environment tells them, that there will be horrible consequences if you go against the norm and don't carry forward our culture. Radhika Yadav is one example of what can happen when you try to beat the system alone. To be rebellious, you need to have the support of a social circle, the support of at least one person who is close to you, someone who can help you. When the whole system is against you, it's not dumb to be a pick me, it's not brainwashed, it's smart, it's a way to protect yourself from getting killed. Imagine if Radhika Yadav had become a pick me. Maybe she would have gotten married at the age of 19 instead of opening up an academy. She would be getting hate for being a pick me, for choosing to be a housewife, for choosing to stay alive. Maybe it would have been better for her. At least she would still be here. I used to hate pick-me's, and I used to hate women with internalized misogyny. I used to hate my teachers, my principal, for slut-shaming us in school. But I don't anymore. My first reaction is always anger. But then I feel bad for them. What kind of social circle, what kind of parents, partners, friends do they have that they ended up this way, succumbing to the very patriarchy that harms them? When we're all born in this world, we come out neutral. No baby has sexist thoughts. All the thoughts are put into our heads from the society around us. I want to end this video by asking a question to all the people who say it was her choice that she became a housewife. If cooking and cleaning are the only options that you got from your environment while growing up, is it truly a choice? If there are two options, one being getting killed and being socially isolated, and the second option being having a social circle but being a housewife, is it really a choice? Is it really an option? If it was really a real choice, then the same women would be getting the same amount of opportunities, support, money, and help from their social circle if they chose to be an aeronautical engineer. They would get the same level of support for that like they do when they choose to be a housewife. Are you really telling me that women who are housewives, if they one day decided that I don't want to be a housewife anymore, their family and in-laws would support them? They would allow them to go and study abroad, to choose to not have a child, to choose to never cook again and hire a cook instead? We all know that they wouldn't. At least not most of them. The people who comment, "It's her choice, let her be," would be the same people hating on the woman for choosing not to get married. These are the same people who hate on me for speaking up, for not looking married, for not looking a certain way. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you share this video with other women in your life. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Goodbye.